Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I've been working on the Anywhere Business Network project since about May this year. And my digital business that I've been running in Anywhere Business Network has been designed to be able to put across messages to people to assist them with their businesses. Coaching, with decisions, with their business planning process, and with their mindset. And it gives me great pleasure to roll out the last of our products that we did about 10 weeks ago, and that was Digital Kickstart. Digital Kickstart was a particular product whereby we were able to take people's views on social media and put them into a plan of action to get that social media message out to people. Since we launched that particular brand, after trademarking it, we've just trademarked our second product that we're rolling out this week as a brand launch. And that product is called Digital Intrapreneur. And we were granted the trademark on Monday. And that particular product is designed to find out the reason why. Now that's the tagline, to find out the reason why. When people go into business, they tend to get this initial plan and they get their financial objectives and they get it all together and they find out what the needs of the customer are and they try and satisfy those needs and they work really hard to make a profit. The millennials today in studies, they've been identified as actually requiring something more than monetary gains. They want to enjoy themselves. They want to actually have something artistic or altruistic in their objectives. They want to actually be happy. Say, what's this thing called happiness? What is this thing called happiness? We've all had to think about what happiness is. It's a feeling, a vibration. There's another word called joy, which is very similar to happiness. And what are the components of happiness when it comes to, say, your personal goals? And how do those incorporate into your business goals? Well, taking a leaf from the Millennium's Child's book, when you're in business, you should start developing visions which take into account personal goals and private goals. And those personal and private goals should be in line with what the customer needs. So what I did to establish a template to actually achieve this particular goal is I hardwired with my own coding a questionnaire, a business plan questionnaire. It takes about 2 hours to do from feedback from my clients. And it covers all facets of a person's business. It tries to set a mission, it tries to set a vision as far as the business goes, and it rolls it all together so I can have a look at it, to make comment on it, to assist people with their business coaching. Today, I finished another hardwired questionnaire on personal goals and personal objectives. Digital Entrepreneur will find those reasons why, and those reasons why will be amalgamated into a person's vision of where they want to go forward with their business. It's all very well selling products. You know, if you're selling basic foodstuffs to people, rice, for example, and no one's got very much food at all, it's very easy to sell rice, isn't it? Because you're covering a basic need. when it comes to us in the Western world, we have to look at, say, Maslow's hierarchical nature and have a look at the principles of Maslow's theory. And Maslow's theory says that what we're trying to do is self-actualise. In self-actualisation, when we break down the particular components of it, we're looking at joy and happiness. Joy and happiness. To actually achieve that self-actualisation. What's the alternative to self-actualisation? Well, ultimately, it's self-estrangement. And what happens to productivity when somebody is self-estranged? Especially if they're working for themselves. Their productivity falls off and they end up being unproductive. So the reason why I am finding a vision for people is to let them self-actualise. How many people here know the reason for their existence? How many people here can put their hand up and say, this is what I'm going to achieve and this is when I'm going to achieve it?
Next week, maybe? Zero after, no.
How many people can put down SMART or specific, measurable, achievable, reliable, timely goals on how they're going to achieve their goals? And that's great, because if you look at the numbers of people here, not many people do it. And do they incorporate their own personal objectives into those business goals? Now, this is where the magic happens. The magic happens is when you're meeting customer needs, customer wants, your own personal vision, and the vision of the business all rolled up into one. And that magic is created by the passion that you put into it. Some people said that Donald Trump had vivid charisma. He appealed to people. He appealed to people. There's no doubt about it. He had a form of charisma. Now, some people couldn't stand him. I was amongst them. Some people revelled in it. Make America great! That was the catchcry. Now, to your average 15-second commercial watcher in America, that's all they needed. Make America great! And that was enough vision for people to buy into that product. Now, when you're mixing marketing with your personal and business visions together, you come up with taglines. The tagline that I'm using for Digital Intrapreneur is finding the reason why. Finding the why. That's the marketing hook, the tagline that indicates my vision for this particular product. Now, this is not going to be the only product. We've got, as I said, Digital Kickstart, which is focusing on social media. The next brand, Digital Intrapreneur. Once again, unchallenged trademarks. Trademarked in New Zealand, creating intellectual property and the bits and pieces which go with it to actually form up a product. Ultimately, it should be able to be franchised around the world, and it should be able to be rolled out with the support mechanisms we have in place. At this stage, I'm limited by resources as far as that goes. But who here would think that you're onto a winner if you could roll your personal objectives, your business objectives, and your marketing objectives all into one. Would it be a win-win situation for you? Would it be a win-win situation for your clients, your customers? Just imagine if your staff bought into the same vision. Just imagine their productivity. And their productivity makes it exciting for people. Right, so we break those, that's the top level side of things. Just want to go into vision. Vision has to be related to joy and happiness, as we said. There's a lot of things in joy and happiness. There's trust. Trust is you as an employer. Trust that the client has to you, in other words, that stakeholder, that client. And trust in yourself. How do you trust yourself? You've got to have a look at things like mindset. You've got to believe in yourself in the first place. Where am I going to take this product? Well, a lot of the time that these people are going to roll in and start doing these questionnaires, I'm going to find that I'm going to have to put these people off onto professionals. Professionals to determine what they really want to achieve in their lives. I know of the 4 people that I test marketed on so far have been left in a complete state of flux. They're tradespeople, and they've got businesses, and they've just been operating, and they've been operating on automatic for the last 10 years, and they've had no vision or objective. Their vision is just to continue and make money. It's a means to an end, and that is to provide shelter. Would they be enjoying their work? One of my major software suppliers, MYOB, had this particular tagline a few years ago: love your work. Now, it's designed to sell software, but the people at MYOB love their work. If you go into their campus, and it's a campus in Christchurch, you can just walk in there and sit down and make yourself a cup of tea. Sit and have the fresh fruit that's lying around the office. Sit on the big table and have a yak to your agent account manager. And I had a yak to my agent account manager, and I had Charlotte with me at the particular time. So my other agent account manager took Charlotte down to the stationery cabinet and started chewing through all the chocolates and all the other goodies that they had down there, and that was not a problem. I've had a working relationship with MYOB for about 15 years. I know my agent account manager's children's names. That's a tagline. Love your work. It's also a vision for them, a guiding light. What would their productivity be like in that particular organisation during that particular process? Their productivity was very high. When people set sales targets and such like, they knew that they will be fulfilled, and they were working in a particular environment. They were all given a vision and made clear of that. They could see. You can see joy and happiness when you go into their campus. They're working hard, they're getting the work done, there's lots of smiles. Tie it in to the customer, tying it in with their own personal goals and objectives, and tying it in with the business goals and objectives. That's what I want to try and achieve with Digital Intrapreneur. Who's going to do all the work? with this digital entrepreneur? Does anybody hazard a guess as who's actually going to be doing all the work with the digital entrepreneur work? No, not me. When a person starts filling out these questionnaires, it makes them start to think. Even with a limited command of English, it will get people to think. They will start developing their own strategies from about question 10 onwards. Right? There's 35 questions in the business plan questionnaire. As I said, it takes an average of 2 hours, 2.5 hours to complete. The personal planning questionnaire takes a similar amount of time. They're going to devote 4 hours of their time to completing the questionnaire with the objective of developing a vision. They do that, they hit the submit button, it appears in my email box. You know how long it's going to take me to read that? It's going to take me less than 15 minutes to read it at average speed. And that person has put 4 hours work into it. After they've completed it, if I don't know what their vision is, after answering all those particular questions, there's something wrong. As I said, when people complete that particular questionnaire and they're unsure of too many questions, I'll know which areas they're unsure about and be able to refer them on for help or assistance. I mentioned mindset. Mindset's a hard thing. You know, people don't focus. They turn around and say, well, for example, one of the personal goals and objectives is family. I want to have children as a common thing. Now, I can't help them with that.
I hope not.
I can't help them with that. But that might be their mind block that is stopping them from fulfilling their destiny. Yeah? They're either going to get over it or they're going to do something to fulfill that destiny. And I can't help them with that particular point. But can you see the benefits of the planning process when they sit down and work their way through those particular issues? If they tackle the business planning questionnaire first, and then the personal goals questionnaire, I bet you they go back and re-evaluate their business plan altogether. Now I'm going to give you an opportunity for some questions and answers, because I think I may have provoked you into thinking a lot more about the planning process and actually sitting up there and making smart goals. So I'm going to open it up, and I might ask you a few questions around the place. And I might start off with Lee, if that's all right, Lee.
Yeah, more than welcome.
Lee, have you got some personal goals that you're trying to achieve at the moment?
Yes, I have.
Long term or short term?
Oh, they're both actually, yeah. Both long and short. Like obviously the short term ones are like generating work in the future and property building, but also you look to the future, also you've got to look at exit strategies as well. And that's probably, I think, a big thing in most businesses. It's all very well building up your business, but then you build up to that level and you think, shit, I don't want to be here in 20 years' time, so you've got to have that in the back of the mind as well, along with keeping the business ticking over and making it attractive for potential buyers. And then who are those buyers that are potentially going to buy your business as well? Are there people around that would want to take that business over?
Yeah, and that's a succession plan.
Yep.
And it's a succession planning as part of those business planning objectives that you've got all together in your mind at the same time. You notice with the digital entrepreneur, I'm building a particular brand here, which is intellectual capital, which I will end up franchising and selling. But I'm putting my effort in there to get the plans and processes in place to do that. So everybody's got a succession plan. But then there's the personal goals. I have a lot of clients, I've had a lot of clients over the years who have retired. And they've sold their businesses and they've packed it all up. And unfortunately, if they don't have an interest outside of work, within 5 years of retirement, and these are mostly males, they expire. They pass away. And it's unfortunate. So, putting in those personal goals is very important at the same time finding out where you're going with those personal goals. So it's just not business and succession planning in regards to monetary goals, but it's also those personal objectives that you need to do. Education, career, all those sorts of things can be continued into retirement, for example. And they're very important to stimulate the mind and stimulate the senses, using a term that we've used previously. Is there any other questions? Because I might be running out of time. Any other questions? Oh, thanks very much. Thanks very much.